What's up, universe? Elliot from Starforge Systems here. Next to me is one of our Ryzen Elite PCs, and I want to talk to you about what's in the PC, why it's in there, and what you can expect from its performance. Let's get right into it. The Ryzen Elite PC is meant for seasoned gamers who want everything from an awesome 4K experience to ultra-fast 1080p gaming and esports titles. Intel's Alder Lake processors have set a high standard for CPU performance, and the Core i7-12700KF boasts some incredible stats, packing 12 cores with up to 5 GHz boost across its performance cores. The RTX 3080 that we've paired with it similarly is a gaming beast, featuring some of the best features that NVIDIA has to offer, from its dedicated encoder to its fantastic ability to use DLSS 2.0. We chose a full ATX Z690 board to offer plenty of room for expansion, as well as the increased consistency in power delivery to your CPU that other boards can struggle with. The 32 gigabytes of DDR4 3600 megatransfer RAM is more than enough for most current games, but also will have you covered for future titles and help out with non-gaming workloads. The MP34 that we have installed on your board provides a terabyte of storage, and its onboard DRAM cache helps support up to 3400 megabytes per second read speeds. With such a powerful processor, it's important to keep things cool, and the Castle 240EX liquid cooler helps ensure that your CPU stays in a comfortable temperature range while gaming. Of course, with all of this, you'll want a power supply that can keep up with it. A 750 watt gold-rated power supply gives plenty of overhead even during full load torture tests. Lastly, we put it all together in the DeepCool CK560, which has some really fantastic airflow from the front, as well as some expanded front I/O. Now that you know more about the Ryzen Elite, let's talk about some AAA gaming benchmarks. Each of these titles is using the game's pre-configured ultra settings with super sampling disabled, ray tracing turned off, and with base clock speeds for both the GPU and CPU. Our frame rates are an average of 5 test passes per native resolution, and the on-screen example is chosen at random. Remember that you'll see much faster frame rates when you lower your settings, and to look at these for what you can expect when you turn everything to the max. Let's check it out. Moving on to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, we saw 107 FPS average at 1080p. For 1440p, Assassin's Creed played at 88 FPS average. At 4K native, we saw 60 FPS average. Again, this is with ultra settings. Using the game's FSR set to performance mode, we saw frame rates increase up to over 100 FPS at 4K. Cyberpunk 2077 featured 119 FPS average at 1080p. This game's no joke, especially at ultra settings. At 1440p, we saw Cyberpunk relatively consistent at 80 FPS average with very occasional lows below 60 FPS. And at native 4K, we tested Cyberpunk at 39 FPS. Turning down some settings will still allow for a great 4K experience. Turning on DLSS to performance mode once again played Cyberpunk at 4K with a whopping 100 FPS that we never really saw dip below 60 FPS. In Red Dead Redemption 2, we saw 124 FPS average at 1080p. At 1440p, we're still above 100 FPS, clocking in at 102 across our testing. And at 4K native, we see some really nice results with Red Dead, 69 FPS average. Turning on DLSS helps our frame rate a lot, at just about 84 FPS average at 4K. And that's the Horizon Elite. Depending on the title, you should be able to enjoy a 4K 60 ultra gaming experience as well as blow away the competition for games meant to be played at lower resolutions with higher refresh rates. This machine is meant to be an awesome gaming experience regardless of what you throw at it. For yours, check out starforgesystems.com and be sure to check out our streams every weekday at twitch.tv/OTKnetwork. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the Forge.